I think a lot of people don't really know how to have a rational or productive conversation. And I'm not saying I'm perfect as either. I'm including myself in there in that. But I started looking to like a lot back into my discussions I have, debates. I say debates. I don't like debates. Discussions I have, my conversations, discussions I have on streams. I look at other live debates like on from other channels, Christians, atheist versus Christians, uh, Christian versus Muslim, stuff like that nature. And I think a lot of times that people seem to miss the other person's point quite often in these debates. Now, granted, I don't like the whole idea of like the stereotypical YouTube debates. I think it's kind of unproductive. I don't think no side is going to change in a sense. I think it's just there for entertainment. But I think, like for example, these conversations, a lot of times people tend to not understand that we have different worldviews. And yeah, I'm saying truth exists, so you can have right or wrong in these worldviews. But like a lot of times, people when they have a conversation, like I'm including myself too in there, you can't necessarily use some like your worldview, your justification. Well, you can, but it's probably not the best idea. You'll probably struggle to use your worldview or your justification or how you look at the world, this whole framework of your beliefs, to try to like convince someone else uh, of whatever, for example, like whatever. And I'm not saying like doesn't mean you're right or wrong. Doesn't mean none of that stuff. I think there's right or wrong, and obviously if you have a worldview, you think your worldview is correct on all that stuff. But I think a lot of times people miss the point of like you have to like I think for one you have to still miss someone's argument. I think you have to understand their perspective, how they use certain words or use how they look at the world certain ways, or you have to look at their internal argument, for example, to see if they're consistent or not. Like for example, I'll speak with this. I had like a stream like about about a week ago or so, and one of the arguments that came up towards the end of the stream was about morality in a sense. And the point I think there's a big miscommunication or things tend to be missed in the points a lot of times with that for morality in a sense. Like for example, I say if we both say action X is evil, for example, we both can agree on action X is evil, but we might have two different justifications or two different worldviews, two different frames. I'm using that colloquially, I guess. Two different ways of defining how that word, right? How evil, in a sense, is used differently between us. And then once you get to, for example, more action Y, for example, we have, I might say more action is not evil, it depends, and someone else might say that it is evil. Well, we having two different viewpoints of what evil is based on our viewpoints and justifications. And I think the biggest thing is you have to be able to use wherever like someone's justification, wherever someone's framework is, to try to criticize their point, to say, okay, maybe that's wrong, maybe that's right, instead of saying, hey, I view evil a certain way. That means even though you don't accept how evil is, you should think that is evil. And it kind of goes stuff like that way. And this feels like a free form talking session right now, but I think the biggest thing for these conversations a lot of times people miss is that you have to be able to understand the person's argument. I think you have to stillman their argument. You have to be able to, I think, really look into an internal critique of their argument. And even, like, again, look into an internal critique of your own argument of whatever. But yeah, so I got cool beans. Ooh. Pause.